Good Monday to you, everybody. Com 731. Welcome. Are you ready for this? To week, boom, bam, bam. 16. Last week of class. We made it. Hang on here a second. Last of the coffee here this afternoon as well. There, much better. I'm now your sufficiently caffeinated communication instructor. How's everybody doing? Did you have a good Thanksgiving break? Get a chance to rest a little, spend some time with family. I did myself, did spend some time with family, got some time to cook, got some time to clean, got some time to do grading, and now we are ready for the end of the semester. Now, for today's video, this week's video, and there wasn't a video for week 15 because, I told you that, and Thanksgiving and all that. For today's video, what I'm going to do is to go over some of the core things that you should have prepared or be preparing for the upcoming final exam. So in this last week, you only have two things to focus on. Number one is finish your paper, which is due on December 4th. Now, strangely enough, the semester ends, by way of the calendar, on the 7th, which is a Saturday. So maybe it's like 12:01, something like that. But really, the last day, for everything to get done is that Friday. Okay, that is for things to be turned in. So your papers need to come in by Wednesday the 4th. However, your exam will open on Friday morning at 6 a.m., Friday, December the 6th, and close on the 7th. Okay, if you have any issues, if there's anything that's going on, things that are tripping you up, things that and some of you have talked to me already, and you need to talk with me, please, I'm begging you, reach out and talk with me, connect with me before December 4th, that is Wednesday. I need a little space to figure out what it is that you need and what's going on and what can be done, if anything. And then, because the registrar wants the grades when the registrar wants the grades, which is like right now, once the class is over the 7th, I've got a very narrow window to finish and tabulate everything up and turn it around and get ready for final grades. Okay. So I just don't have a lot of movement in terms of what I can accommodate for you at the end of the semester, and that being the end of this week. This week for myself, I'll be finishing grading your discussion posts. So you'll watch those populate as I get to them and through them. Okay. And I will be keeping regular office hours this week. So if there's anything that pops up, please reach out to me. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the final exam, which will open up on Friday and close on Saturday. How do you prepare? All right. First and foremost, when you get to, I'll get to the preparation here in a second. When you get to the taking of the exam, please follow the instructions. Read the instructions carefully and follow them diligently. This is a no note, no book, no internet, no outside resource examination. All right. Close all tabs except for the one that you're using to take the test. Close all browsers except for the one that you're using to take the test. Do not pull information off of the World Wide Web and put it in your answers. Don't do that. Without going into a lot of specifics, I will tell you that Canvas, this isn't me, it's the software. Canvas runs a couple programs in the background that checks what you're putting down when you complete an assignment like a test. And if that text smacks of anything else off the World Wide Web, it generates a report and sends it to me. Canvas tracks where you go in relationship to Canvas. So if you're, have anything else open besides Canvas, it's making a record of that and it sends it to me. And if I see that you've gone somewhere else, or if I see that you're using material from somewhere else, I'm sorry, I'm going to give you a 0 for the exam. We're doctoral students, we're graduate students, we're regent students. This is part of the integrity of who we are. Just do your best. If you're not sure about an answer, take a stab at it. I'll probably give you partial credit. I want to hear you and your work. Okay? All right. The exam will have 50 questions. You'll have 2 hours to do it. The best preparation that I can give you is to go back, in general, start with sort of big picture, and then we'll get to some specific things. Go back and review the discussion questions. Okay, if you can answer those, either by matching something, in your head, you match something to it, you can identify something as true, false, or you can write just a little bit about the thing, whatever the item is. You say a short answer. That's a good, base foundational preparation. Okay. In addition to that, let's talk about some specifics. All right, go back and read and review your notes from the book, like Hoke and Baer. Okay. What is it that they say? I mean, why is the book called Everything Connects? What is it they say about giving employees time and space to do the work they need to get done? Which, seems like a duh. Okay. But why would they even point that out? Okay. What about stability of long-term plans in relationship to, say, a dynamic presence? Back to the theme that everything connects. Why is personal identity important? Okay. Especially in a mediated world today. Okay. What are the layers of progress, according to Hoke and Baer? Okay. They discuss caricatures, caricatures of roles often fulfilled by people at work. What are they? Be able to identify them and identify ones that aren't. And if you're asked to explain a little bit about them, be able to do that. Okay. Excuse me. Why, for instance, why do they suggest that you date ideas, and what in the world does dating ideas mean? Okay. Moving on to your other books, like, say, Tapscott and Williams. Okay. Why do they believe that some technologies and data and risk assessment models, or do they, I should say, believe that they should be kept secret, or everything should be open to the public? Okay. What do they have to say about old crisis paradigm and new crisis paradigm? And I don't like that word paradigm, not because I have something, what a horrible word. It's just so misused. It should only be used in the rarest of instances, like decimate. And that one is terribly misused as well. But anyway, let's get back to the review. Okay. What are the 5 principles of Wikinomics? Since, that's the whole book. What are things like prosumption or presumptive behavior? What do we mean when we say that? Okay, what's their vision for university in the next century? So-called University 2.0. Okay, which, according to them, what sort of things are likely to inhibit scientific discovery and free flow of knowledge? And what do they have to say about that? Excuse me. What and I talked about this, and there's some things be aware of what I've discussed in videos. What is it that's the most significant cause of things like the U.S. healthcare crisis? According to, again, with Tapscott and Williams. Okay, what sort of impact does new technology, like, say, streaming, the ability to stream content placed on the World Wide Web, what kind of impact has that had on the music and film industry? Okay. What is their vision of citizen prosumer? I mean, what does that mean? Could you define that term, citizen prosumer? All right. And with sort of in that spirit that is consumers adding to the process, is there any hope for this monologue type media, say print media, in which the one thing is just being broadcast out at the other, that is, the sender is being broadcast towards the receiver, you the audience, and there's not the interactive space? Is there any hope to save that, according to Tapscott and Williams? Okay. What are the 5 priorities of innovation discussed by Tapscott and Williams? Okay. What are things like Kiva, Kiva? Okay. Um, Back to, say, Hoke and Bear. What does blueprinting decisions mean? Could you identify that, and could you discuss it? What according to Tapscott and Williams are the 6 ground rules for reinvention? Okay. Looking at books like Schmidt and Cohen. Okay. What do they predict about what's going to happen when there are fewer jobs that require a physical presence, and things are more and more moved into a mediated space? What kind of impact is that going to have on the workplace and on economy? Okay. What about online educational experiences? Is it a net negative or a net positive for someone that participates? Okay. According to Schmidt and Cohen, what role will cyber warfare play in relationship to conventional warfare? Is it actually going to overtake it one day, do you think? All right, now remembering some of the stuff that I gave you that I had done. All right. What do we know about the use of social media applications by terror groups? Do they spend any time with it at all? Okay. Why does those kinds of questions, and in particular, and say Christians in the Middle East in general, why did I say they needed more research? Okay. What did those individuals that were studied have to say about the utility of social media applications to solve their problems? Did they see them as a means by which to solve their problems? All right. And then we, look at what we covered concerning not-for-profits, Neff and Moss. Okay, so be able to identify and explain what was the socioeconomic shift that changed community-based fundraising forever. Okay, what do they have to say about so-called quality management systems? Okay, like Lean and Six Sigma and TQM. Are these good things, bad things? What role do or should they play in the not-for-profit world? Okay. Concerning strategies, what are their thoughts on innovation as a strategy for success in nonprofit organizations? All right, again, thinking about Neff and Moss, what drives innovation? Is it technology that drives innovation, or does innovation drive technology? What's the proper arrangement of those items in that equation? Okay. Could you be able to identify and discuss the elements, at least 3, that Neff and Moss claim for the core of staffing solutions for a not-for-profit? Okay, that was one of the things that we covered. Okay. Would you consider working for a not-for-profit? Why or why not? Okay. Think of some of the basic terms that we've covered, like neuroplasticity. This is going back to Hoke and Bear. Well, what does that mean? What does cultivating curiosity mean? What does dating idea means? What does prosumption means? Okay. What does openness and transparency mean? What does citizen journalist mean? Okay. What are your thoughts and some of your authors' thoughts on the proliferation of robotics and AI? Is this a good thing for the economy, or not so a good thing? Or I should say for workers. The economy is really an abstract. Okay. What do authors like Schmidt and Cohen mean when they write about code war? Okay. What is the dark side? What are some of the downsides to macroeconomics? Okay, we read articles that covered that. What do authors like Tapscott and Williams have to say about collaborative healthcare? And is it here already? Does it work? Okay. And likewise, in terms of collaboration within the marketplace, what about the future of music, television, online films? Okay. Is this a good thing for the consumer, a bad thing for the consumer, good thing for the creator, not such a good thing for the creator? What do your authors have to say about that? Okay. If you cover those areas in those books, all right, you should do just fine. And all of those things that I just went through can be found in the discussion questions. Okay. And since this is a communication class and everything connects, every communication has a main text and a subtext. And there is direct communication and there's indirect communication, usually nested within communication, the main communication. All right. The medium is the message. So if you just finished watching this video and you were watching my eyes, that there's a message nested in what you may or may not have seen, right? And I won't say any more than that. Okay. All right, everybody. Good luck this week and last week class. It's been an absolute delight to have you. And remember, paper's due on the 4th. Exam starts on the 6th. If you have any issues with either of those in the lead up, please get in touch with me before the 4th. All right. I think about you. I pray about you. And I'll see you on Canvas. God bless. Bye-bye.